in the reaction between dinitrogen tetrahydride and oxygen gas, how many grams of oxygen must be reacted in order to produce 164 grams of N2O5 at 80% yield? Okay, so this is a percent yield problem. Now, whenever we see this, this is probably the first thing that we need to think about. Percent yield equal to actual yield over theoretical yield times 100%. And theoretical yield is the one that we're using or we're calculating in a stoichiometry setup. So we know that we're going to be producing 164 grams of N2O5. Now first we need to identify, is this the actual yield or the theoretical yield? And the answer is, of course, this would be the actual yield, because eventually we want 164 grams. And once we establish that, we need to get our theoretical yield first. So 164 grams of actual yield over X grams of theoretical yield times 100% should equal to 80%. And very easily we can calculate our X, which is the theoretical yield, must be at 205 grams of N2O5. So we need to prepare reactants that enough to make us 205 grams of N2O5. After that, with the 80% yield, we can eventually produce 164 grams of N2O5. Alright, so once we get the theoretical yield, we can do our regular stoichiometry setup. 205 grams of N2O5, molar mass of N2O5, 2 nitrogen, about 28, and 5 oxygen, about 80, so 108.02 grams of N2O5 per 1 mole. Grams of N2O5 cancel. We got moles of N2O5. We are going after oxygen, so let's use the molar ratio in the balanced chemical equation. 2 moles of N2O5 is produced by 7 moles of O2. So that way moles of N2O5 cancel, and we got moles of oxygen, and each 1 mole of oxygen gas is 32.00 grams. The mole is gone, and we eventually get grams of oxygen, which is what we wanted. Do the calculation, and we ended up with 213 grams of oxygen. So if we prepare 213 grams of oxygen and have it react with enough dinitrogen tetrahydride, we will be making, with a 80% yield, 164 grams of N2O5. The key step for this problem is to identify that the 164 grams that we're going after for the products is the actual yield. Once you establish that, you know that we need theoretical yield, and once the theoretical yield is calculated, the whole setup is just a simple gram to gram stoichiometry, and we have been doing that numerous of times.